Cigars International knows there are moments when you just want to slow things down and kick back for a bit. They've got one of the biggest selections of premium handmade cigars out there, and they make it super easy to find something you'll actually enjoy. They even have guides and reviews if you're still figuring out what you like. If you're already a cigar person or just curious, you can check them out at cigarsinternational.com and use code DRAFT20 for 20% off orders over $50. Cigars International. Pittsburgh, are you ready to train like a champion? UFC Gym has everything for total body health under one roof. They have group classes from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA to Zumba, personal training, cardio, weights, cryotherapy, infrared saunas, and more, all for an unbeatable price. Not sure where to begin? All members get a starter session with an expert coach to help map out your fitness plan. First visit is on us. Drop in with free parking at Market Square or the waterfront and follow UFC Gym Pittsburgh on social media. Train different, feel unstoppable at UFC Gym. NFL draft fans, it is time once again for another episode of Draft Nation as we are taking a look at the top prospects. And now all 32 teams, go ahead back and check the other teams. We have done 9 teams so far. This is the 10th that we're looking at. Wherever you find your favorite podcast or on draftnation.com, you need to go ahead there and listen to them. Go back. Maybe you just found us and we haven't had your favorite team yet. We're going to have your team. It's just a matter of time. But now you got to think about this. You want to hear what your rivals are doing as well. So I know I pay attention to the other 3 teams in my division and some of the conference as well, and you get an opportunity there. Remember, www.draftnation.com. Sign up for a free subscription today. You will get so much intel. Now, Joe, hello to you. I didn't even say hello yet. I just rambled on. It's good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. It's nice to be back.
I hope you had a good holiday as we are recording this, and this is going to air after the Easter holiday. I hope you had a nice one with your friends and family.
We did, and thank you very much for asking.
All right, let's go ahead and look at the Buffalo Bills, the team that just can't get over the hump. They should be the Buffalo Camels.
That's really good. I liked it.
Thanks. All right. Let's look at the Bills. They are picking at number 25, I believe.
Yeah, so the Bills are an interesting lot. Like you said, they're a very uber talented team with some glaring weaknesses, but with the league's potential best player at quarterback, it's hard to understand why they haven't been able to get over the top. But this year I think they're in an interesting position, right? They went out in the offseason and acquired DJ Moore from the Bears, so they filled an obvious spot on the wide receiver side of the ball. But people in Buffalo are still calling for more receivers. Keon Coleman hasn't worked out as they had thought, and I think that I could see them, if one of those top 5 receivers slide to them at 26, them scratching their head saying, do we take an Omar Cooper Jr.? What do we do if that's too juicy of a player to pass up? But I really think they end up on the defensive side. I think this screams edge rusher or inside linebacker. And I think this draft features a lot of edge guys and inside linebackers that are be steals at the end of the first round or the beginning part of the second round. And I can see the Bills even trading back with a team that wants to move back up into the first round, like perhaps the Arizona Cardinals, to secure the services of a Ty Simpson, or somebody like that. Maybe the Jets doing that as well, and then moving back to 34 or 35, wherever they need to be, and still getting that inside linebacker guy. So those are the 3 positions I think that they'll go. And I think edge, inside linebacker, wide receiver in that order.
Edge, inside linebacker, and wide receiver. There is plenty of talent. The problem for the Buffalo Bills right now, they went and got a DJ Moore from Chicago, which means they do not have a second round pick. They do have a 1, a 3, a 4, 2 5s, a 6, and a 7.
They were picking, I said 25. I did that in error. They are picking at number 26. And then their next pick is at 91. So I could see them trying to take advantage of a team and maybe forego that 5th year and only get a 4-year contract from a team to maybe get some more draft capital so they could load back up. Is that something you already said that they would do that, but do you think they'd be comfortable in Joe Brady there, who's looking for a lot of offense? Do you think it would behoove them to go ahead and say, all right, let's not have a first round pick, but have more?
Yeah. So I think that not having a first round, when you get into that 26, 28, 30 range, a lot of those guys are just high second round picks, right? There are already guys that are really not rated as first rounders, but there are guys there that are going to be quality impact starters. It could be all pros. For example, CJ Allen, who's an inside linebacker from Georgia, that's a guy that is a monster on the field. He might not be a turnover machine like some of the other inside guys, but he's someone that could slip into the top part of the second round and would be an absolute steal there. And to trade back 8 spots or 7 spots and then still land him and then add something else in the third round as a result of letting someone come back up in the first round and getting them, I think that's a smart play. Or if there's a handful of edge guys like a Cassius Howell from Texas A&M or a Keldrick Falk from Auburn, if they slide down that far and they can wait 6 or 8 picks to get them, or one of the two, based on need, I think that's a place where they can pick up additional draft capital and fill that gap where that second round was going to be as part of that. But ultimately, I think they stay put. I think they grab something in the first round. I just think that this is a spot where I could see a team like the Cardinals or the Jets or somebody trying to trade up to target a Ty Simpson at the back end of round 1.
And if they do, the Jets and the Cardinals have early picks on the second day. You would have one in the early to mid 30s if you traded with them. So you can get back in the second and maybe get one of those early thirds that they have. And then all of a sudden you have the equivalent to a late second rounder.
That's right. And I think that's the carrot for the Buffalo Bills. It's something that they might say, well, you know what, we don't have that second rounder. We picked up DJ Moore. On paper, we could say DJ Moore was our second round pick. There's nothing wrong with that. And looking in those terms, the Steelers did that last year with DK Metcalf. I mean, they didn't move up. They didn't do anything. They just said, hey, you know what? Our second round went to get one of the best receivers in the league. Can't beat that. And I think that's what they're doing here with DJ Moore. If they wanted to do that and move back, there's clearly a number of teams below them that have the draft capital to allow them to do that. I think the Jets, it's hard to trade intra division, but sometimes politics make strange bedfellows in these years. Where that would have never happened in the 70s and 80s, and even part of the 90s, it happens a lot more often these days, where teams will trade intra division for things like that. But I think the more likely trade partner there might be the Cardinals.
If they go ahead and they keep that number 26 pick, there's a possibility that they could be looking at a Casey Concepcion. They could be looking at an Omar Cooper, maybe, because he's somewhere in that 18 to 26 range. So
yeah, I love the Omar Cooper Jr. pick for them. I mean, Cooper is a heady guy. He's an accomplished route runner. He might be the best route runner in this class. He's got experience playing in the slot, and he can also play on the outside. He's a dependable. He's always going to be where you need him to be, and he has great hands. I think last year, if memory serves me correctly, he only had 3 drops on 94 targets. And so once he catches the ball, he runs physically, so that you're going to pick up yards after the catch and yards after contact, which I think is Josh Allen and Joe Brady would love to see him if he's available. I think that even though I think Casey Concepcion is a excellent player, I think that they would be more than likely targeting an Omar Cooper Jr. in that spot. If it falls, I think that one would be really, really tough to pass up on if you're the Bills.
Yeah, absolutely. And on defense, you mentioned Keldrick Falk, guys like that. So you would think that one of their first two needs. You also mentioned inside linebacker, and I keep thinking, when I think of inside linebacker, there's a lot of guys. There's Anthony Hill, there's Jacob Rodriguez that would be nice in that area. You're not looking at a Sonny Styles there. I mean, so with that being said, it sounds good for the Bills. We're going to come back right after this, take a quick break, and we are going to learn your final thoughts on the Buffalo Bills.
Pittsburgh, are you ready to train like a champion? UFC Gym has everything for total body health under one roof. They have group classes from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA to Zumba, personal training, cardio, weights, cryotherapy, infrared saunas, and more, all for an unbeatable price. Not sure where to begin? All members get a starter session with an expert coach to help map out your fitness plan. First visit is on us. Drop in with free parking at Market Square or the waterfront and follow UFC Gym Pittsburgh on social media. Train different, feel unstoppable at UFC Gym. People usually ask me, how do you like to unwind? The last time I really had a chance to kick back and enjoy a moment to myself was with Cigars International. That's kind of the whole vibe behind Cigars International. They've been doing this for a long time, and they've built a reputation as one of the go-to places for premium handmade cigars. They've got a huge selection, solid pricing, and honestly, it's just easy. That's what I want these days, easy. Whether you know exactly what you want or you're still just figuring it out, they've got so many guides, reviews, and recommendations to help. They also carry all the extras too, like humidors, cutters, accessories, everything you need to round out the experience. The one thing I like, free shipping, no minimums. You don't even have to overthink it. If that sounds like your kind of vibe, you can head over to cigarsinternational.com and use code DRAFT20 to get 20% off your order of $50 or more. It's Cigars International.
Welcome back to Draft Nation. This is the Buffalo Bills and what they need to do in the 2026 draft, what their needs at least are. And Joe has mentioned a lot of great things, the need for a wide receiver, an inside linebacker, but also an edge as well. And they can go a lot of places, keeping in mind that they do not have a second round pick right now, but they could always be a candidate to make a move. So, Joe, what are your final thoughts on the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, I think one of two things happen here. If the right player falls and makes it to 26, I think the Bills stay put and they pick them. And that right player could be an Omar Cooper Jr. We just talked about that. I think more than likely it'll be one of the edge rushers, either a Cassius Howell or a Keldrick Falk. I mean, if you told me that Keldrick Falk went 15 overall, I wouldn't bat an eye. Like, that's the kind of player he is. And they need that. They need that desperately to fill that edge position there. And I think that they've addressed the wide receiver position enough that they could probably get someone later to plug in if they needed it. But if Falk is gone, if Howell is gone, if those first top 5, 6 edge rushers are gone and CJ Allen is still on the board, they can make that trade down. So I think the other part of what I think might happen is if they let the board come to them and the guys that they thought are steals aren't there, I think they trade back. And I think they trade back with the Cardinals or somebody like that and end up with a CJ Allen or an Anthony Hill in the early part of round 2.
And that would be beautiful for this team. So there's new hope for that new stadium and the Buffalo Bills as they continue to try to get that elusive Super Bowl berth that they just have not been to since the very early 90s. So, Joe, it's time for us to get on out of here. Remember, www.draftnation.com for all of your draft needs. You could read Joe's work and all of our very talented content creators there, as well as listen to some of these podcasts. And remember, if you haven't heard your team yet, might be already on there. If not, stay tuned because yours might be coming up next. All right, we are gone and out of here. Remember, we're off the clock, but that does not mean that Draft Nation will not be there for you. So make sure you check us out. We'll see you soon.